Yo, what's up everybody? This is Mark from Solo Games, and today we're going to talk about has WOTC secretly reduced inventory and print run numbers? I know a lot of people were thinking this way. I think I heard Rudy talk about it, and he's like, oh yeah, WOTC's doing this, print run numbers are decreased, that's why the price is holding steady. Actually, I want to present a contrarian perspective on this. I think that WOTC hasn't actually reduced print run numbers. I think they have changed the way that they release product. So hear me out. So if you guys remember, back in the old school days, they were just like, hey, here's a bunch of Crimson Vow and release it all to the market and realize, oh shit, no one can like hold on to this. It's not gonna happen. The market can't absorb it. And then of course we start dumping on Amazon. Even that's not enough. And distributors getting more products. And so there's, a pileup of all this stuff everywhere. And of course, where I guess it's gotten so bad that they had to go dump it into a dumpster somewhere and, really just get rid of the product, right? Get rid of it, reduce the total number altogether. I don't think that 2020, end of 2022 and beginning of 2023 has really changed. From the evidence I'm seeing, I know a lot of people were saying, hey, the price is holding steady. That must mean that the print runs are lower. I don't actually think that's true. So let's take a look at the 2022 products that this is supposed to happen to, right? If we think that they started doing this strategy around, let's say, Dominaria United, well, we already know that's false because you see the constant dumping of that product on Amazon. I think the lowest the draft boosters ever went to, I've seen, is like 75, something like 82, something like that, right? Amazon, like plus tax shipping, so you're paying like 95, let's say. If you live in California like me, you're paying 95, okay? So that's the lowest I've seen Dominaria United, right? And to me, that is a dump price, and who knows? Let's see what happens towards the end of the year. If there's going to be more crazy sales, then you know for sure that they're dumping more products or they have more products to dump. And then let's look forward over a little bit to like Brothers War. I know Brother War's like, hey, Brothers War is like different. Brother War is unique, and look at the serialized cards. It's really holding the price. I agree. I think serialized cards is holding the price of the collector's boosters for sure, right? And this is one of the reasons why honestly I was wrong. I thought it would dip below 200 by now. I thought it would dip below 200 around Dominaria Remastered, around Firexia All Be One, where a lot of the capital is going to the new product and less money is going into buying the Brothers War collector's boosters. But I'm wrong. In fact, that has held pretty steady. It has dipped a little bit, so I'm not completely wrong, but it's like holding around that 200 range, a little bit above. So let's say after tax shipping, you're getting a market price about 210, 215 is pretty fair. So that's pretty much where it's held. And so that would be a good indicator that maybe WOTC has actually, reduced print run numbers. But we already know from the math that, we've done on the whiteboard that that's not true. Brothers War Collector's Boosters was printed a lot. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's the same numbers that they print all Collector's Boosters and have been doing that for a while, right? So what's really different here? I mean, I think it's demand, right? Driving up the demand of the product drives up the price because, again, there's just less supply. More people want the product. Like if you could buy a Brothers War Collector's Booster or versus a Dominaria United or, oh my gosh, Streets New Capenna, which one would you choose? It's pretty obvious what the answer is there, right? That's why the price of that booster box is holding steady. Then we look forward to Dominaria Remastered. Now, Dominaria Remastered has only been out for 3 months, right? So, the product's out there. Now, I think the general reception is that it's pretty mixed. I don't think it's like a home run TSR level box. And it definitely was not printed like TSR Print Run 1. And you can see this, right? Where a lot of stores had tons of Dominaria Remastered. And I think part of this is because WOTC has learned the mistake of Time Spiral Remastered and not printing enough product, and this time they definitely printed enough product. Number two, I think after people play the draft, while it is interesting, for most players, that having that lower power level just doesn't feel as good. And like you can play Firexia All Be One and you feel like the cards are more powerful, you feel like you're doing something. Dominaria Remastered, you're looking at the card and you're like, is this a good creature? Like, is this the bomb of the pack? And it looks like a mediocre creature by today's standard, right? So it really screws you over, especially if you don't know how to judge the card relative to other cards in the same set. And that's kind of, I think, the problem with that set overall. I think the people who really love Dominaria Remastered love it, and they're gonna, want to buy more. And the people who don't like it, they'll look at it and say, like, if I have to pay $170 for the draft booster, and that's already lower than, like before, why would I pay $170 for that? Whereas I can pay basically $80, so I can get 2 boxes of something else, or $95, let's say, right? So you can almost get 2 boxes of Firexia All Be One for the price of 1 box of Dominaria Remastered. And yes, we can say the price of the cards are good. It's not that great, right? So the whole EV is fairly balanced. It's not like a super skewed one like TSR, and there's no super, super rare thing that you can chase for. See, TSR had a uniqueness, which is it did not have a collector's booster. All you had was the draft booster, and every draft booster you could get only 1 retro foil like card, right? So that's a huge, huge, huge difference. Whereas Dominaria Remastered, you can get tons of retro foils from the collector's booster. So really there's no chase in buying the normal draft boosters. And if you can get a ton of foils, what's the chase? I mean, had they made 1 retro foil per collector's booster, I can definitely see the price of that set skyrocketing, because again, you think how many collector's boosters out there, etc. Now, there's that. That's where it's kind of holding. I think it's holding steady, again, because just in general, players are, like okay with it, mediocre with it. The price was not too high out of the gate, so it doesn't have to come down too much. It's 150-ish for the draft, and I think the collector is probably about 250-ish, 200 coming down-ish. Normal pricing, it's about right. Looking forward to Firexia All Be One, right? We know complete bundles, completely out of order, right? Or out of stock, completely out of stock. If you look at the collector boosters, well, I mean, it's Firexia All Be One, so there's no serialized cards, there's no lottery cards. There's like a weird Praetor concept thing, so it's kind of a lottery, but not really. Yeah, so there's nothing really to chase for in the collector boosters. And if you look at the draft, the set boosters, the price does look actually pretty good, right? So like as far as, even weeks into release, I think there was like, when I looked at the price last time, was around 3rd or 4th week of release, right around the time that complete bundles came out. The prices were holding. I mean, like you got draft and set boosters at the 100 to 110 to 115 range. That's huge. That's really crazy. We've never seen that with a standard set post-release ever, really, for a long, long, long time, right? So the price hasn't crashed. But then I got thinking, right? So, your conventional thinking is going to say, well, the reason is because they're controlling print runs, there's less product on the market, and it's being absorbed slowly, so of course it's holding price. That's your conventional thinking. From what I understand, what I'm seeing instead, though, is that even today, just checking with distributors, what products do you have on hand? Collector's boosters, again, reminder for everyone who doesn't understand this, are supposed to be a 1-print product. Same as bundles. Normally, bundles are also 1 print, but it's not as much of a promise as collectors are. Now, I don't know if there's any official language out there promising that collector's boosters are 1 print, but that's just generally that's what we think, or we understand it to be. You can still buy Dominaria United, Brothers War, Dominaria Remastered, Firexia All Be One collector's booster boxes today from distribution. Now, you are limited by the quantity, and some people will say, well, that's because the distribution doesn't want to sell all of it out. They want to hold a little bit. They're kind of trickling the product. But the only reason that distribution will trickle product is because, number one, there's no more product coming from Wizard. Or number two, they really think this is like a crazy set, it's going to blow up. Because in reality, distribution would not want to hold product. It's not in their interest to hold on to a product and, spec on something. Because they're trying to move product through their chains. And that's why they charge a very minimal margin, but they're selling large quantity, right? So if I can only make $5 on a booster box each, but I'm selling you 100 booster boxes, I'm making $500, right? And it's one transaction. That's huge. That's the kind of business that a lot of distributors are doing. They don't care about like specking on a product. Now, I have seen with some distributors, suddenly they'll have like, oh, we have a lost palette of Dragon's Maze. We have a lost palette of Khans and Tarkir. Like, why? How? Probably because they did hold on to it, and probably because they stashed it in the corner, didn't think about it, and now they have to oh, it's a little higher. Let's go liquidate it to the stores. So it is long-term nice that distribution does that, but again, they're not in the business to hold product. That's not what they want to do, basically. So Normally, when a product is short printed, like Commander Legends, #1, I remember seeing this because I remember requesting a second wave of that product and I could not get a single box. Nobody had it. Amazon ran out. And then, of course, very quickly, all the stores ran out. And then if you go back one source higher, which is distribution, they're all out because stores are requesting from distribution, which meant WOTC was out. Because there's no way that when a distributor goes to WOTC and says, hey, give me another pallet, give me another like 1,000 boxes of something, WOTC is not going to ship it because they're already making money, right? It's like an order sheet. Like it's just money sitting on the table. Why would you not take it? There's something that has changed though. What I'm seeing now is that distributors, again, this is my guess. I don't have that kind of information with a distributor to tell you for sure. And I guarantee you they're not going to tell me this even if they know. They can also speculate, but WOTC doesn't tell them. It seems to me they can always order more products, but the WOTC isn't shipping as much to them. Like if you're a big distributor, could you order, I don't know, 7 pallets of collector's boosters of Firexia All V1 right now? I don't think so. I think you're probably going to be limited to like 1 or 2 pallets, maybe per week, per month, whatever the limit is, which means you have to then limit. Again, you can't have stores come order from you and basically wipe you out. 5 stores take all the inventory, right? You have to then limit your inventory out to each store. So I think what's happening now is it's not that WOTC has cut down print run. WOTC is trickling product. Because let me ask you this question. Brothers War, super highly sought after product. Everybody, all the distributors, all the stores want to buy more because again, the price is really good for the collector's booster, right? Why haven't they wiped out distribution like they've done in the past? Because the other thing that happens with distribution is if a set doesn't do very well, Crimson Vow, AFR, right? Commander Legends, Baldur's Gate, they really slash the prices to get rid of their inventory too, right? So that hasn't happened from distribution either. So if they have lots of products, the price should go lower and you'll see it reflect on the secondary market as stores, let's say, for example, I'm just going to throw out some random numbers here. If a store can buy a Brothers War collector's booster for say, I don't know, $120, right? A low price. Normal price for these things are going to be around like the $160, $170-ish range. Again, depends on your distributor, your relationship with the distributor, what kind of quantity you're doing with the distributor. These are big factors that, affect your price. But let's say you can get it for $120, obvious discount, right? You immediately take that product, you go to TCG Player, whatever, eBay, whatever, your storefront, you sell it for $200, right? Lower than your market price. Why? Because you can get more. That's what a dump looks like. This is why price goes down on the marketplace, because it's not like people like me who have like thousands of boxes and suddenly we want to sell it at a loss. It's going to be because stores and distributors look and they say, we have a lot of product. They list it basically directly to TCG Player. That's why that price falls down, right? And of course, your Timmies who have 1 or 2 boxes have to chase that price because now they realize they're not the lowest price and you can't sell the box. But that's not what's happening. At the same time, if we've ran out of the product, it's like a Commander Legends situation or Double Master. You request, you want to buy more, there's no more. You request, you say, I'll pay like the $170, the distribution pricing. There's no more. Just can't get any. This happened with complete bundles too. After basically my initial wave of orders, I couldn't request more. There was no more to be requested. You could say, hey, I want to take 30. They'll say, cool, good luck. We don't have them. Ask somebody else. And of course, nobody had them. And that's what caused that initial wave of upward tick. Now, what I've seen a little bit, and I haven't seen it from my distributors, but like I've seen more product come to market. Part of this is because people are getting their Amazon shipments. I don't think it's because distribution has a second wave of bundles, right, in stock yet. But I think what this is signaling to me, right, so the bundle is kind of like an outlier, so let's not talk about that one, but let's talk about the draft, set, and collector's boosters. The difference since Brothers War, maybe Dominator United, to now, is that the product that WOTC prints up front is not all coming to market at the same time. So my suspicion is actually they haven't changed print run numbers, but they've changed the way that they distribute the product. Don't, for example, like just high level numbers examples, right? Let's say imagine WOTC for USA, because these things can't be distributed across the country, but for USA, let's say they print 100 pallets of Brothers War collector's boosters, okay? And they ship them out to distributors. That's the normal model, right? You print whatever and then you ship them out. What if WOTC is doing something very different now? Or, okay, maybe you print 200 pallets, you ship 100, you kind of wait and you have enough for restock, right? Because distributors probably also don't want that much product on hand. But I think they're doing something different. Imagine they still printed 200 pallets, but now they're shipping 50. So each store, each distributor that normally would get like 10, 20 pallets are getting 5 instead. And then as they reorder, they get one more. They get one more. They don't get like another 5 or 10 like they normally would get. They get 1. And so WOTC is slowly trickling that product. Now, obviously, this causes them more money in the warehouse space, keeping the product, safe, secure, whatever. But at the same time, it's pushing and pressuring the market to hold confidence on all this product. Because not all the products coming to market, and they ultimately are controlling how that product is being kind of disseminated into the market. I think that's the biggest change. So I don't think the print run numbers have been cut. I think instead, the distribution model has been changed. Mark, Solar Games, stay classy.